What's up? So I'm on Logan Martin practicing, pre-practicing for MPFL tournament, stop number 6. But I want to do a quick video about a question that I get a lot on social media and on my guide trips, and it's about water temperature. So I'm going to kind of just give you my opinion of water temperature. It doesn't really, I'm not saying it doesn't play a factor. It certainly plays a factor, and I'll try to explain my take on water temperature. But the biggest impact it has isn't really baits. It's maybe how you fish the bait, how you approach the fish. So number one, when we'll talk top water, right? Obviously top water is probably, those style baits are the ones that you eliminate when the water gets too cold, right? But other than that, it's not like you eliminate wacky rigs or jerk baits or jigs, or you do this, more when it's cold. You throw a jig when it's cold, but you don't throw it when it's hot. In my opinion, it doesn't really work like that. So top water, I would say around that 55 is what I look for. I'll start throwing top water when it hits 55, 56 degrees, and then I'll stop throwing it when it hits 55, 56 degrees. All right, so below 55 degrees, there are a lot of baits that you can catch them when the water's 45 or when the water's 85, right? And I'll run through a couple of baits that I think are good all year round, right? And I'll start with probably my favorite bait, and it's a jerk bait. Now, if the water's 45, I'm gonna have to fish this thing a little slower, and maybe you get you a jerk bait that doesn't have as much action, right? So for instance, like a Berkeley Stunner, it has a lot of side-to-side, pretty erratic action. A Rapala X-Wrap, it has a lot of side-to-side, pretty erratic action. It moves pretty quick. So not saying you can't catch them in the wintertime on that, but you really gotta slow your retrieve down, slow your presentation down. This is a Rapala Maverick. One of the biggest bags I've ever weighed in on Santee. Was 29 something, and it was in January, and I caught him on a jerk bait. And I still throw this jerk bait when it's 90 degrees, but I do change the way that I present it. Maybe I fish it a little bit more radically when the water's warmer. I don't know. I'd say once you get to that 55 degree range, you could really fish it however you want to, as fast. I don't think you could fish it really too fast, but those are all things, those little nuances that you got to learn. We're just going to talk general, right? So if say the water's 45, you might want to throw this thing out there. I always reel it down to get it to its depth. I give it 2 or 3, 4 handle turns, get it down to its depth, and then I might just twitch it, let it sit, twitch it, let it sit, give it a little twitch, let it sit, So you can still throw the jerk bait when it's 45 degrees, and it is a very good bait, and I throw it a lot when it's cold, but you just have to work it a little bit different. When the water's 85, maybe you're still twitching it really slow, or maybe you're just kind of giving it constant action, right? But a jerk bait, I think, works 365 days a year. Doesn't matter. Another one that I really like, spinner baits. They work all year round. Doesn't matter. Get my little sticker off there. Spinner baits. Doesn't matter. 45 degrees, 85 degrees. Caught some at Eufaula this year, and the water was in the mid 80s. Caught some on Douglas, and the water was in the high 60s, low 70s. Caught some this winter and this spring on Santee when the water was in the 50s. Maybe you throw one with a bigger blade that slows it down a little bit, or maybe you don't, right? It just, a spinner bait, 365 days a year works. Another really good one is a chatterbait, all year long, chatterbait. For instance, on Santee this year, the water was 56 degrees at the MPFL tournament, 56, 58 degrees. Every fish I weighed came on a chatterbait, just casting it, just a slow, a nice medium retrieve, ripping it through grass, medium retrieve, and a chatterbait just works. I think it just works all year round. It's one of the best baits. I've caught them when the water's in the 40s. I've caught them when the water's in the 80s. It's just another really good bait. It works all year round. Water temperature doesn't matter. You can throw this thing. Rattle trap. Water doesn't matter. You can throw it. Cast it out there and just wind it real slow. Or you can throw it out there, rip it up. You can yo-yo it. You can burn it. Traps work all year long. Any type of swim bait. I don't have an Alabama rig in my boat because NPFO, we're not allowed to throw them, so I just don't really carry them in my boat. But Alabama rigs I haven't thrown them a lot when the water's really warm, but swim baits, underspins, when the water is 40 degrees or 85 degrees, you can catch them on swim baits and little underspins. An Alabama rig, once again, I don't have a bunch of experience throwing it when the water gets too warm. That is typically something I throw when the water's a little bit chillier. Not saying that you can't catch them when it's 80. I just personally haven't really had the opportunity or the reason to do it, because a lot of big terms you can't throw them. So anyway, but yeah, swim baits, single swim baits, those work all year long. Doesn't matter. Any sort of punching, right? Like Santee, the Cooper River especially. I do a lot of punching with a 1 ounce weight, 1.5 ounce weight, sometimes a 2 ounce weight, and any kind of little creature bait. This is a Berkeley Pit Boss. It's one of my favorites. It's what I'm flipping in the grass out here at Logan Martin. And I have literally won tournaments probably every single month of the year on the Cooper River, punching the same exact rig. Doesn't matter. Like, I tie it on, it stays tied on all year long. 48 degree water temperature, 40 degree water temperature, 50, 60, 70, 90, it doesn't matter. Punching grass, flipping laydowns, whatever, with a punching style big rig. I know personally works all year long. Doesn't matter. You can also, you can throw jigs all year long. Obviously, drop shots. Man, drop shots work 365 days a year. Big worms work 365 days a year. Wacky rigs work 365 days a year. So, my opinion, there's not a lot of baits that you should be using in the winter over the summer. There's a lot of baits that catch them 365 days a year. It's just more about the presentation. Fish your jerk baits slower. Maybe fish a bigger spinner bait, bigger blades that you don't have to reel it as fast. But maybe you don't even have to do that, right? I caught them on just a 1/2 ounce spinner bait all year long on Santee. And it's also relevant to where you live. The water gets in the mid 40s around South Carolina, and that's pretty freaking cold. But I know some places you guys live, it's 38, 37, and I don't have a bunch of experience fishing in that cold of water. So can't really give you the best advice. But I would think you could still catch them on these baits. You just might have to slow down a little bit and change your presentation. But drop shots, shaky heads, jigs, football jigs, whatever it is, flipping jigs all year long, 365 days a year. And I think one of the common misconceptions, right, are these crankbaits. This is a Berkeley Fritzside, one of my favorite. These are my two favorite. This is a Rapala Shad Rap. This is the Berkeley Fritzside. These are kind of more known for cold water crankbaits, and they absolutely catch them in cold water because they don't have a lot of wobble to them. It's a really tight wobble, doesn't have a lot of action to it, right? So that's kind of the purpose behind these smaller, flat-sided, tight wobbling crankbaits. But I can promise you, you throw these things when the water's 80 degrees, you will still catch bass. You will. It doesn't have to be cold. Doesn't mean you should put your Shad Rap up or your Fritzside up because, oh, the water is 58 degrees and I quit throwing. And I've heard guys say, well, I don't throw a frog. Once that water hits 60 degrees, man, they start biting it. And it's just, it's just overthought sometimes. So I hope that, guys, helps. See this video, give it a share, follow me on social media. Let's go on a guide trip, CoreyCaseyFishingandGuideservice.com. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram.